Morning, guys. Here we're going to go ahead and jump into lesson 7.2. And our I can statement today is I can interpret and write inequalities for real world situations. So we're going to jump right into the problem here. It says in the problem below, use variables and an inequality to find out what you could buy for lunch. You have at most $14 to spend on lunch. You want to get a sandwich and a few side dishes. The sandwich is $8.50. Each side dish is $2. Define a variable and write an inequality to represent this situation. And then explain how you can use the inequality you wrote to find the maximum number of side dishes you can buy to have with your lunch. Okay, so let's go ahead and work through and discuss how to solve this problem here. So I've got some stuff written in blue and some of the answers and my thoughts that we're going to go through here. Okay, so when I'm defining a variable, the first thing I need to do, I'm going to call it x. And x with my variable here is the number of side dishes I can afford. Our variable is what we don't know. We know what the sandwich costs. It's $8.50. And what I'm trying to find is the number of side dishes that we can afford. So I'm just going to call that x since we don't know what that is yet. And then I wrote an inequality next that represented this situation. And every situation is a little bit different. But in this situation, the sandwich costs $8.50 plus $2 times each side dish has to be less than or equal to $14. And it can equal exactly $14 because I have that much. So I just know I have that much to spend. Okay, so to explain, kind of going through to find the number of side dishes here, I know the sandwich plus all the sides added together must be equal to or less than $14. So I would subtract $8 from each side of this inequality to undo it. So if you look back up here, if I take away this $8.50, because if I add $8.50, I can subtract it like it never happened and undo it. But then I would need to subtract $8.50 from this side of the inequality as well. And you can do that just like you do with an equation where there's an equal side. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other to keep it balanced. So if I do that, what I end up coming up with here would be left with $2 per each side dish times the number of side dishes, x, has to be less than or equal to $5.50. Okay, so I can't spend more than $5.50 on side dishes. So I could use trial and error or inverse operations to solve from here. And I'm just going to use trial and error, kind of some simple numbers to do in my head here. I know one side dish would be $2. So two side dishes is $4, and three side dishes would be $6. And I only have $5.50 I can spend, so I would know right now I can only afford two side dishes because three side dishes cost more than $5.50. It costs $6. If you used inverse operations to solve this, instead of trial and error, then all I would simply do on both sides is divide them by $2. If we look back up here at the inequality we had changed it to, if I take x times $2, to undo that, I divide by $2. So right down here, I took $2 times x and divided by $2, and that just leaves me with x. And I take $5.50 and divide it by $2 as well, and that would get me 2.75. So I know x, or the number of side dishes I can afford, is $2 or 2.75 side dishes, which means you could afford 2 3/4 side dishes. But since you can only buy a whole number of sides, you would only be able to afford two sides, and you would get $1.50 change back from the $14 that you started with. So this is a very basic problem just to kind of talk a little bit about inequalities and how to write and interpret them in different situations and then how to solve them. So on your exit slip, you guys will get a problem that is similar to this one where you'll need to be able to define a variable and write an inequality and then use that to go ahead and solve the real life problem. So doing your best, do your practice problems before you do that exit slip. And as always, get a hold of Mrs. Newberger or myself if you guys have any questions, and we will talk to you later.